Venus in the first house. So people with Venus in the first house, they just literally embody Venus because the first house is the house of self, right? So everything that is in the first house, any planet that is in the first house, we usually say that you are this planet. So these people are Venus. What does that mean for them? So being Venus means, first of all, that you feel really beautiful and worthy most of the time, unless obviously there's some negative afflictions. But now we're not talking about aspects, we're just talking about like the pure Venus in house placement. So Venus in the first house, these people just naturally have a self-worth. They naturally feel they have confidence, they are worthy, they feel beautiful, they don't have the need to wear a lot of makeup or make a huge effort in order to look more beautiful. Obviously, they do like to groom themselves, but it's more like an act of self-love. It's not like they feel like they need to make themselves prettier because they already feel pretty as they are. Just, yeah, and most of the time you'll find Venus in the first house people being rather natural because they don't have the need to kind of add on to their natural beauty. They feel like their natural way of being is already enough, which is a very, very beautiful thing to have and a very beautiful feeling to have. Um, Apart from that, Venus in the first house is obviously the opposite of Venus in the seventh house. And Venus in the seventh house means we project Venus onto our partner. So we adore our partner, we think the partner is the best thing, they're beautiful, they are charming, they're everything. Venus in the first house projects Venus onto itself, basically. So they feel like they are charming, they are beautiful, they are, adorable, and they can sometimes develop a little bit of a narcissistic trait with this placement. So, feeling like everything around you, everything about you is the most desirable, the most beautiful, the best, so to say, and needing everybody else to confirm that opinion about yourself. So this is another trait that comes somehow with that, which is them needing everybody to like them. They need to be likable. They need to get this confirmation that they are beautiful, that they are special. They need this in form of just of like positive, affirmation, positive behavior from other people, like people being friendly with them, people letting them know that they're likable, and that usually is the case as well. Venus in the first house folks are very likable, and they usually have big social circles. They are charming, they're caring, they're sweet, and people like them. Um, However, this whole needing to be liked can sometimes come with an air of superficiality, because if you want to be liked by everybody, you cannot always show your true self to everybody. So sometimes Venus in first house people can be a little superficial. They maintain relationships on a more superficial level in order to make sure that everybody likes them. So they will only show their most beautiful part to everybody. Yeah, they can, if the Venus is a little bit unbalanced, they can even like obsess about being liked. And they're gonna be very nice and sweet and polite on the superficial level, no matter what they think about you, no matter, if they think you're great or you really annoy them, they're always gonna be really polite and really nice to you because they want to avoid conflict. They don't like conflict. This is a major Venus trait. Like they are very much about harmony and peace. So they can sometimes try to maintain relationships very superficially just in order to kind of keep the harmony and to keep this image or project this image to the outside that they are this like a little beautiful perfect person. Now, um, in relationships, well, they will look for somebody who projects Venus onto them just like they do, right? So they will look for somebody who adores them, somebody maybe who has a Venus in the seventh house and who, puts all of these Venus placements onto their partner. So yeah, in relationships mainly they will look for partners that admire them, that, reassure them constantly that they're gorgeous, that they're beautiful. It is a bit about them in the relationship, because Venus in the first house people, they are turned towards themselves, and they make all the effort in order to ensure that their life is nice, that their life is comfortable, that they get all the best of life. So in a relationship, they look for a person who does the same, that makes sure that they get everything they want, that their needs are met, that they feel good and feel pretty and admirable and everything. So yeah, sometimes you can say that with Venus in the first house, these people will always love themselves first and then everybody else. They will always make sure in the first place that all of their needs are met and then everybody else. So yeah, back again to this, ties back into this slightly narcissistic trait that they can have, in always first looking after themselves and then after others if there is time for others at all. They can be really pleasurable to be around, and be really sweet and nice and loving and caring and sexual and sensual, all these things. But deep inside, they truly, really mostly care about themselves and how they can, first of all, make sure that they are okay and that they get everything they need. Now, I guess they are a perfect match for some kind of, codependent relationships where there's a narcissist and a codependent. But in generally, the theme here is that they usually take more than they give, or want to receive more than they give, because they feel like they deserve it. They are Venus in the first house. They are gorgeous, they are beautiful, they are everything. They deserve to get a lot of love, a lot of attention, and usually they are also um, very touchy, very sweet. When you meet them, it's because they just really need this Venusian quality in relationships. They love to connect with people. They love to be touched. They love, to exchange romance, or exchange sweet words. So they are very sweet and loving in that regard, and they usually also have big social circles because of that. Although, like I said, they can sometimes be a little superficial in the how deep they actually go in those relationships, but they tend to have big social circles. However, in relationships, it doesn't mean that they are polyamorous. They mostly tend rather towards monogamous relationships, because Venus is the sign of, a duo, like a two-person thing, like a two-person relationship, a more serious relationship, like we see it in the seventh house. So they do tend to go for real relationships, and they tend to put a lot of emphasis in being into relationships. But yeah, they don't usually go into relationships from a place of wanting to give, but more from a place of wanting to take, wanting somebody to take care of them, just as they already do, because that's Venus in the first house. I love myself. I am amazing, and I feel I deserve to be treated in an amazing way. So yeah, all that said, I don't want to upset any people with Venus in the first house and make you feel like you're a narcissist or bad people. You're not bad people. I think you're really lovable and likable, and most of the people will always like you. But maybe if you look deep inside, you will realize that the motivation for you for going into relationships is to get your own needs met, and not so much to really deeply connect with another person. And apart from that, I think, the self-worth and this confidence and that these people have is really admirable, and something that everybody should try to have. And it is a good thing to know how much you're worth and to try to find somebody who acknowledges that. Yeah, so in that regard, that's my take on Venus in the first house. Looking forward to your comments, especially from Venus in the first house people.